somebody coming in just as I'm starting the stream. I'll put you down here. Evening. Yay. Hi Dreams, hi Ellie. Let me just get things sorted. Just had a random guy walk by. He's just scrambling up the stairs with like bags galore. Ellie's hiding from her parents. Oh no, sorry Ellie, that's my fault, isn't it? You trying to hold out while you while you can before they nab that phone off you. How you doing, Dreams? I hope you're well. Lovely to have you in. Oh, I will always apologise when I've made you wait for me, Ellie. That's just the way it is. Hi Sue, good to see you. Let me just bring you guys back a bit. I feel like really close to the camera. Yeah, so I'm downstairs because it's got so late. It's past Ethan's bedtime. To be fair, he is upstairs just finishing a quick game on his Switch before he sorts himself out and goes to bed. So he's got to do his teeth and get settled in. But yeah, it's been a bit of a mad day, to be honest, like really mad. Yeah, well, he is at the moment, Ellie. Yeah, sleepy boy. Dreams saying I'm doing quite well, thank you. Glad to hear it, Dreams. And how are you doing, Sue? Hope you're well. Oh, it's nice of you to be good about it, Ellie. Yeah, it's just been one of those days. It's been a bit of a crazy one. So for those of you who remember the story about Jess, we bumped into each other again in the lobby bit here, and we got chatting. And then when me and Ethan went over to the allotment to do our work today, like basically she ended up walking over from our house, walking her dog with her daughter, and we ended up kind of like spending a bit of time with them. So yeah, just sort of trying to clear up a few things and try to work a few bits and pieces out. I think I've got all messages on. Let me just check. Yeah, I've got all messages on. Thank you for the reminder, already. Sue's saying, I'm always good, thank you, Molly. Well, I hope that's true, Sue, and you're not just putting a brave face on all the time. But yeah, that'd be amazing if you're always good. I've got to admit, I'm not always good. Yeah, but it was a bit of a stressful thing to handle, to be honest, because this whole thing with Jess is very, very stressful, can't lie. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm being strung on a little bit with stuff, so I'll just kind of try to make my position very clear with that. But on a different point, who is Jess, our streams, if you don't mind me asking. So Jess is like a lady who sometimes works here. It's like a friend of James who runs the place. Yeah, so, and I also met James's father today, Will, which is the next bit I'll tell you about, but I'll answer Dreams first. So yeah, so essentially, like Jess liked me enough that she dropped her, like a card with her phone number on it into the room a little while ago, and sort of obviously wanted to get to know me a bit more. And then after having initial sort of semi-date thing, I mean, I'd call it a date. I don't know if she really was thinking of it as a date at the time. I think she did, but she was just, I think, so here's the issue anyway, is then later on that day, she fessed up that she is actually in an exclusive relationship right now with someone who she's dating, but it isn't her boyfriend. I don't know. I think basically it's not something she's fully committed to, and they're having some issues, and she met me and decided she wanted to like try something more, like get something more out of something. But yeah, I'm not keen on that situation at all, thanks very much. So I've kind of let her know, like until she resolves her current situation, I'm not looking for anything at all to work through that. Is Ellie off? Good night, Ellie, take care, sweet dreams. yeah, because I'm not that kind of guy who wants to be going around people's backs and stuff with it. But there was some stuff to clear up and just kind of, I don't know, just kind of like get to the bottom of some stuff. I mean, part of it was just curiosity to see what on earth was going on in her head with it, and to figure out, like, because it all felt quite like sudden, and it happened on a really bad day for me. So yeah, it is dreams. It's a very weird situation. I've certainly never been in anything myself like that before, but yeah, I've kind of drawn my lines in the sand today. Basically, we talked a bit, and kind of, you know, I was able to kind of explain myself a little bit more about how I'm not comfortable with it, because it's kind of weird. Like, I talked to Noah about it, and he's like, it's a bit like fairly normal these days for that to happen, where somebody's not necessarily fully out of a relationship before they start looking at the next one and things like that. We've got Coffee Black saying, "Hey man, please turn off the gigantic head filter." No, that's permanently on, unfortunately. That's just what you got to put up with, to be fair. But yeah, so I do want to just get this a little bit more. There we go, a bit of a better angle. I'm aware that's not the best lighting either. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so Sue's saying, sounds amazing, a bit too complicated, Mummy. If it doesn't feel right, then go with your initial feelings. Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. So obviously, you know, it's one of those things where at first, you know, she was trying to sort of like we were doing some the initial bit where I found out about this current situation was basically on WhatsApp and like texting. So it's a bit like I needed more information to figure out what on earth, you know, like she was basically like, what is the situation and stuff like that. Because I like her, she's nice. But yeah, it's one of those things. I just don't want to get into a situationship or anything. And yeah, so we kind of talked about some more serious stuff today, and I think, you know, I think it's a case of she just needs to sort her situation out, and that's where we left that. But yeah, anyway, that answers hopefully Dreams' question. Hi Gracie, good to see you in. Coffee saying, sorry man, no way that's your real head, no way. No, it's a complete prosthetic. Like my head normally stops about here, but I've added this thing on to make myself look normal. Otherwise I've got like a tiny like bit above my eyebrows, about this big, and then that's where my like hairline would be, and my hair would go up to about here. So I've got this like extra helmet on that looks like my head. That's how we roll. Mr. Coffee Black. Yeah, so anyway, back to the other news. So as I mentioned, James's dad Will, so basically from what I understand from what James and Will have told me, is like James's parents, they own this building, and they rent this out to James, who then runs it as the B&B. I don't know if that was Ethan or somebody else. But anyway, so anyway, I got chatting to Will today, so that is James's dad, because he came through, and we got talking about what happened with the van and the whole situation. Christ, I think it's that dude up there. He's just like banging around, and boom, like he's dropping things down. I got you, Sue. You're basically saying it's very complicated, and it is. So yeah, which is why basically I've sort of said, yeah, underline this thing. Let's, you know, you sort your stuff out first, like, because she wanted to be like friends, which I felt like she just maybe wanted to do that while she tried to figure everything out. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't have your cake and eat it. If you want to be friends, we're just friends, and I'm gonna like switch off any kind of like looking towards doing anything romantic, but I'm not looking to be kind of like in a friend zone or kind of like hanging around and waiting on someone's coattails for things that may or may not occur. I'm like, no, I'm going to do me. If you want to be friends, we be friends, and then that's it, and there'll be nothing else. But if you're looking for something more than that, you need to go and deal with your situation first. I've not said to her, go and leave your guy and come and try. I'm like, no, that's a separate thing. You work out if you want that relationship or not, and if you do, and then you want to be my friend, come and let me know. But if you you know, if you want that relationship, you ain't having anything like that with me. It's as simple as that. So yeah, so I'll get on to whatever Gracie's saying in a second. Yeah, so essentially, I was talking to Will, and as I was saying, I was telling him about the situation with the van and what happened, the guy crashing into us and everything, and he's like going, "It's like I've got a mate who had a crash recently as well, someone he golfs with, and we started comparing. He's like, oh, that's Tom. I was like, oh right, yeah, because basically he's like, oh, well, like, yeah. I said, well, then the guy's name was Thomas Collier, and he's like, oh yeah, that's Tom. Oh wow, so that was him. I was like, yeah, and we'd already I'd already explained what happened and everything. So he was like, was he like, you know, was he really hurt? I was like, yeah, it sounded like he was. Now, from what I can tell, obviously, if the guy had passed away or there's anything really majorly wrong, I feel like Will would have heard about that. And from what he was saying, he's fully expecting to play golf with this Tom sometime in April when they sort of resume playing golf. So it sounds to me like, although it's not a full confirmation, but it sounds to me like the guy is okay, which is quite good news because obviously I had nothing about him after he left the scene in the ambulance, so I didn't know what had happened. But I feel like Will would have heard if he'd passed away or something. So that's kind of good news. That's like, yes, little sort of bit of happiness for the day. And then me and Ethan have, yeah, just been sort of getting things done and everything got a bit late. So we'll get somebody to chat. So yeah, I'm all good, Grace. I hope you're well. What is Ethan doing? Ethan's just upstairs getting ready for bed because it's got very late. It's past his bedtime. He should have been in bed a while ago. And if it was up to me, I'd just let him come down here. But his mum will give me bloody aggro if I get him on a bad schedule. Plus, we do want to get up at a reasonable time and get back to the allotment because I did not get anywhere near like the amount of stuff done that I wanted to today. To be fair, it's not as bad conditions as I thought it might be, but there are definitely some jobs I want to do to have it looking half decent before they do an inspection or anything like that. So he's saying, do you give your heart away easy, Molly? I'm such a romantic, but you can easily get hurt. I'm that kind of guy where in the past I have definitely maybe got involved a bit too quick, like, you know, kind of like diving in head over heels, so to speak. These days I'm very much more take my time with it and be a bit careful, which is one of the things that makes it quite difficult because, yeah, like the kind of way that most people deal with like finding out about your compatibility, especially in the bedroom, shall we say, is that they just go ahead and do it and see how it works out. And I'm not really, I don't like doing that. So, yeah, and I like, there's been some times now where like somebody's wanting to do that and I'm like, yeah, I'm not into that, thank you very much. I want to take my time, get to know someone first, and then only if I actually like them am I going to start pursuing stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a proper full-on romantic, to be fair, Sue. It's just me. I wouldn't. I hazard to call myself traditional because I'm not particularly traditional. Like, I've got full respect for women as equals, and in terms of the actual like household roles, I'm fairly flexible. I generally deal with things on a case-by-case basis, depending on like my situation, their situation, like what they're looking for, what works best. You know, there's no kind of, oh, you need to, you know, a man's this, the woman's that. I don't feel like that. But then some of the dynamics I'm definitely traditional with, but also in a non-traditional way. It's without giving too much detail in here, which is too personal. I can't really go into a lot of it, but yeah. But there's definitely some unusual stuff to deal with. We can say that much. Grace saying, I'm sick on top of my diagnosis. Oh, are you poorly or like a cold or something? Hopefully you'll get over that pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, you've got to look after yourself, Gracie. You seem to be under weather a lot. Dream saying, if they'll leave someone for me, they'll leave me for someone else, just a thought. Yeah, that's usually the case, I kind of feel, which is why I said to her, you know, I don't want you leaving some guy for me. She has kind of made it very clear that this was a one-time thing, but like that thought that you're saying, Dreams, is definitely in my head. So I'm not quick to judge, I will say that much. I'm one of these people where I want to get to know somebody fully and understand their story. Um, and that was one of the things that I was wanting to find out a little bit more about, which is why I was willing to kind of spend some time with her today and ask a few questions to see about a few answers. She's quite an open person in a way, which kind of suits me because I'm like that as well. You guys know I talk about all sorts of stuff in here. I'm very open, and it does attract me when somebody else is very open as well. So she has given me a lot of detail, which obviously I can't share here because that's her personal stuff, and I can only allude to certain things for me, like the fact that I like that she's open, like to talk about lots of detailed stuff. And while I don't think that she's as clear with her thoughts and feelings as I am, like to herself, I mean, because a lot of people go through life just kind of in a little bit of self-denial or not really wanting to address certain things about themselves. Maybe you kind of ignore the little things that you do that are maybe a bit negative towards the people around you, but you know, no one's calling you on your SHIT basically, but therefore you don't have to call yourself on it. I'm not like that. I like to kind of call myself on my own stuff quite a lot, and I'll pick it apart, work out why I did what I did and what I don't like about it, and try and work on myself. I don't think she's that kind of person. I don't think she's spending a lot of time working on herself. Louise, which is from months ago, some of you might remember, she was the kind of person who was constantly trying to focus on herself and work on things, but yet weirdly, I don't think she got very far with it. Like, I feel like she wanted to be this particular really good person, and she wasn't. She was over here, and she was trying to make her way there, but she wasn't really making the progress she thought, in large part because she was following other people's roadmaps and thinking that somehow that was going to lead her on her journey. And I'm like, that's not how this works. Everybody's an individual. You're on your journey. There is no roadmap. You have to stop and see the sights sometimes, which means you've got to stop and look at what you're doing, who you are, and try to just have some accountability. Admittedly, I think that Jess has shown a fair bit of accountability for this, but she is struggling with the situation. I think she's obviously scared about, you know, it's scary leaving somebody, even if you're not 100% happy in a relationship. And I think obviously, you know, it's happened like it's a bit of a surprise in some ways from what she says, that, you know, she wasn't expecting to meet me and for this to happen. So yeah. Dream says, give me a few vodka shots and I'll open up. I wasn't talking about that kind of open up, Dreams. Oh dear, but I think I can find some vodka somewhere. Oh dear. So Grace saying, I don't know, seem to talk, can't, it doesn't feel like it's a cold. Maybe the flu then, something like that. Yes, I've got the dad joke down. I even brought the Bandido in case we didn't get straight into chat, because sometimes it takes everyone 10 minutes to find me. So I brought that down, but I've got a feeling we're not going to touch the Bandido today. But we'll do the dad joke for sure. Oh, you'll be back to school on Wednesday though. Oh, so it's not like so you're not off because of the poorliness then, are you? You're just off because of something else, and you just happen to be poorly as well. Grace saying, give me a few shots, then I'll be fine. Are you like a few shots of penicillin maybe? Yeah, and you'll be all right. So he's saying, I think as we get older, we are more guarded with our feelings. Just take your time, Molly. Don't rush into something that doesn't feel right to you. Well, exactly. So I'm taking my time. I mean, I've drawn a line in the sand and said, look, I'd certainly be willing to. Like, I find her very attractive, and you know, well, I say that. Where did that fall? I find her attractive at the moment. I don't know her well enough to be very attracted. I'm very attracted to personality and things. We've got somebody else coming in. We'll stop the chat for a second. He had headphones in. He literally came straight in and straight up, and I almost tried to ignore that I'm here. So yeah, people seem to feel very uncomfortable down here if you're doing anything and they just want to get past. It's weird. Not about the filming at all, I don't think, because they do that even when I don't have a camera. So yes, what was I saying? Yes, I'm not rushing into anything, Sue, for sure. You're exactly right. You've got to, take your time, fill these things out. And I think that's the thing is what I've said to her, like, I need time to sort of, the thing is I've gone into this sort of thing with a lot of people in the past and stuff and talked about how I'm attracted to personality and attitude and things like that a lot more than I am like the physical stuff. So I don't really have a type in terms of like, oh, would you like blonde or brunette or, short and tall and, curvy or athletic or anything like that. It's like, it's more about the internal stuff, the emotional side and the connection that you can build and stuff like that. And so it takes a while for me to build that up with anybody. So I'm not one to jump into anything too quickly with that side of thing. And I sort of like need to figure all that out first. So I'm still kind of early days with all that, but I've said to her, look, we can't go anywhere with this without you resolving your current situation, and that has been like quite a hard line. So ball's in her court. She does with what she wants. But yeah, that's about all we need to really say about that. I think we can probably move on now. Hopefully, we can see what we can do about finding some vodka shots to get dreams to open up. No, Ethan's not been naughty at all. He's been a good lad today. He's been a good help at the allotment, and he's been well behaved. He's been an exemplary little lad today. And yeah, it's just the case. It's past his bedtime, and I want to get us up at a good time in the morning. That's all. And he needs more sleep than me. He's young, so he needs, I don't know what it is. I think he needs like 10 and a half hours of sleep, something like that. Whereas I don't need anywhere near that. I think 7 or 8 will probably be all right for me. I'd like to get 8, but sleeping up in that room, I don't think I've had 8 hours I don't think I've had 4 hours straight up there, because I generally wake up, have to like move about a bit and then get back to sleep. So it's always very broken sleep, which is not helpful. It's not helpful at all, really. Which is why I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get back to my own bed. But what do you do, really? I mean, definitely if I do a new van build, I'll be using the same kind of I love a latex mattress, like natural latex, really solid mattresses. I highly recommend them. And then I've got like I have got my wool pillow with me here, but the mattress is just a pain. It really is. I mean, it's a nice enough mattress, but it's just not my mattress. So I'm trying to look. I wonder if I can actually click on this, because I don't know if I don't want to like end the stream accidentally. No, I can't. It's so annoying. I can't see people's profile pictures better down here. So because I can see dreams. Is that an actual picture of you on your profile picture? I am curious. You've been struggling as well, dreams. How comes you've been struggling? Don't tell me you. Did you say earlier that you've never stayed in a B&B? Because that's crazy. I think I've done it quite a few times in my life, to be fair. But yeah, it's like. So yeah, there's loads of questions off the back of that. I'll let you answer the ones I've said. Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true, dreams, about the taxi. Gracie's saying I won a 5 minutes maybe, Gracie, yeah. Oh yeah, the cast off tomorrow, Sienna. That's going to be exciting. Not to mention all the other stuff you've got going on for the week. This is going to be a big week for you. Loads of stuff going on. I'm very excited for you. What are you saying, Gracie? The only person that struggled is me. Is that what you're trying to say? I'm not sure. Oh, hi, damsel. Yeah, I'm good, damsel. Yeah, we're just having a chat down here, just me and you guys. Ethan is hopefully by now in bed, getting to sleep. I think I heard him in the bathroom getting ready a little while ago, so now hopefully he is fast trying to get to sleep. So I'm just doing the same as I did last night when Noah was here, let him do it on his own. I've given him a hug, a good night, and just let him crack on from there. We get the big hugs in the morning. Oh yeah, damsel, how is the daughter? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we definitely have plenty of the family in. but I see the numbers are up, so we must have more people who are in the chat. How many lurkers do we have? If you're lurking, consider getting down into the chat and saying hello, telling me where you're from. It'd be lovely to hear from you. How comes Gracie? Is he off to work early or something? Dream saying it's weird when people think they're the only ones struggling. Oh, hi Noah, good to see you. It's meningitis, thankfully, but now being tested for glandular fever. Oh, it's not meningitis, thankfully. I was going to say, I was trying to work that in my head, like, how is it thankfully meningitis? As if, like, was it potentially going to be something worse than that? I was like, what? But that makes sense. It's not meningitis. But now it means more testing, which isn't. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You don't want it to be the bad thing they're testing for, but at the same time, if it's not, then you don't know what it is, and you've got to keep working it out. So and that's not great. We got Big Pump back in saying, have you ever had to get the type of medicinal cream that comes with a free little cone? I have no idea what you're talking about. Are we talking about like knit treatment or something like that? Because if so, I'm sure when I was a kid, yeah, some like knits going around the school and that had to be dealt with. Well, I'm downstairs just because Ethan's getting to sleep now. It's a bit of a late stream, and I don't want to keep him up because we're going to be back down the allotment tomorrow trying to get some work done. Yeah, I know almost nothing about glandular fever, to be fair. It sounds less worse than meningitis, to be fair, so that's got to be a good thing. Damsel saying, sorry, tired me some words out. You're fine, Damsel. Yeah, no, teasing now about this stuff. Yeah, it's not a bad spot, was it now? It's worked out quite well. Certainly, I guess it's more comfortable for gaming than sometimes it is in the van. That's one thing I've been looking at if I do a van build. I've basically looking at doing a sort of a more comfortable, sort of a bigger table potentially for better gaming experience. I mean, there's a couple of things. Obviously, I want to think about, you know, filming setup a little bit as well. Because the details on how I'm going to build a table, how I'm going to build the sofas that turn into the double bed and stuff like that. But yeah, but I'm going to make the area so it ends up being quite big as well, quite a large area, which should be quite interesting. I'm not quite sure how it's all going to work out, but we're gonna make it work somehow. Oh, Pete is in. Hi, Pete. It's not coming along at all, Pete. Now, I did get a text message today from the insurance company. That's another update I should give you. And as you might remember, I said that on Friday I had a conversation with them and tried to work it all out about, oh, that's the point. I never actually heard, never got the, I don't think they've sorted out the payment for the coming week. I have to get it sorted. Thankfully, James won't be chasing me up about that too much because he'll get the cash sometime in the week. He knows I'm good for it. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so I got an automated text message today saying that they have arranged for, basically it's been booked in for a engineer to go and visually look at the van. So even though they said that they'd made that decision on Friday, maybe even before that, but Friday they knew, at least when I chased them, that was the current decision. It's took them until today to actually make the booking in, but it does say that I should hear something back from them within 3 days. Whether that means I'll actually hear from them or whether that's just when he tells the other engineer and then they're going to work it all out, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it basically means that I ain't hearing anything until Thursday. So that's where we're at. Hi Wayne, good to see you. And Kit, how are you both doing? Hope you're well. And Rach is in. Hi Rach. I'm good, I hope you're well. Yeah, you can watch all this tomorrow, Rach, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of comments about everything that's happened with Jess and what I heard about the guy who crashed into me. So yeah, it's been an eventful day for me, to be fair, really eventful. I think if Noah's here, I think you have missed it all as well, Noah. And there was so much news. I tell you, crazy stuff going on. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's hard to kind of talk about a lot of it on here, just because obviously I don't want to talk about too much of somebody else's personal stuff. So I can't really go into a lot of detail. I can only tell you about my stuff. And so there's a very sort of, difficult line to tread where I can talk about, what happened in a general sense, but I can't start repeating lots of the conversation back, because there's stuff that is like private that she wouldn't want to be repeated, and certainly some stuff that I wouldn't talk about in public on a stream as well. So, that's the way that is. Yeah, I'm good, Wayne. I hope you're well. So did you see what happened in Glasgow? So sad. What happened in Glasgow? Sienna's off. Get the hair washed. Hugs and kisses, Sienna. You take care. Good night. Pete saying, what would happen if they deemed it right? Well, they've already written it off, Pete. So maybe you're not up to date on this. So last Monday, I called them up and they had already made the decision to write it off. And they wanted to give me some pitiful amount of money for it, which I was like, no, that's not happening. So I've had to send them off. So on last Tuesday, I sent them off some information to basically show that it was worth a lot more. And now they're to the point where they're wanting to send this engineer out. Essentially, they're looking to get an eyeball on it to figure out, is it actually worth what I'm saying it's worth, and to I figure they're probably just trying to accrue enough ammunition to argue me against the price that I've said. Because I feel like they're I don't think they're stupid enough just to come back to me and say, no, we disagree with that valuation. The best we can do is a number, and then not tell me why, because they've asked me for evidence. And if they don't give me some evidence as to why they think it's worth whatever they say, my next question is going to be, well, you're going to have to show me your evidence to show me your justification for your lower price, because I've given you all the evidence to prove mine. You've got to tell me your one for proving it the other way around. So, I mean, I'm going to be playing their game now, and I'm going to be pressuring all the time. Damsel saying it was a massive fire outside Central Station, took over 30 businesses. Wow, that's bad. Okay. Oh, it's not that random now. It's part of, I mean, like obviously Sienna is in Glasgow and stuff, so it's very pertinent to some of the people in the stream. Are you going to have to build a whole new camper van now? Well, that's the kind of premise that I'm working on, is that, it is possible for them to change their mind and decide to repair the vehicle, but they've already written it off, which means that they have a mark on it, which I then have to fight for them to recategorize it back to its original status and scrub the history that they changed its category to, I think basically either an S or an N, whatever that is. But yeah, it's an absolute nightmare that they did that, and I feel like they just completely ignored the fact that it's been converted to a camper van, and they just kind of priced it off the back of it being a standard van, which was stupid. But at the same time, I can see how that happened, because essentially they're just going by standard protocol. Even the fact that they said at first they were going to rush all this stuff through, make it all a priority, and I tell you, if this is priority, damn, I don't want to see what it is like when it's not a priority. This has taken weeks. I mean, they've had that thing for over 2 weeks now, and they haven't even bothered to look at it yet. I mean, it's been a month. It's been a whole 4 weeks since the actual accident, and yeah, I mean, like, this is nuts, and it's costing them the whole time because they're having to pay out for this place and that. So, and I was hoping I wasn't going to have to chase them up about like making a payment for this place, but they're going to make me chase them again. I sorted it all out on Friday, and the guy said he would check on it on Monday morning for me, and he has failed to do so, and I'm a bit peeved with it. So I'm going to have to phone them up again and say, yeah, I'm just chasing up a payment that needs to be made, and then see if someone can actually sort it out. So yeah. What's your language, please, Gracie, in the chat? Well, that's it, Pete. Basically, the value of the van, as far as I can see, is somewhere between 30 and 40 grand. just because that's what other people are asking for, similar vans with similar amount of man hours and materials into it. Because a camper van is worth a lot more than just a van, when you can, especially because mine's like a fully winter ready one. You know, it's got the stove in it and everything. You say, I mean, I've been living in it for nearly 5 years now, and I've survived winters in it and all sorts of, and a family of four that have done many winters in it, for instance. So it's a fully converted vehicle, like, you know, with a decent number of berths in it, with like all the mod cons. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's worth a lot more than they're saying, simple as that. So there's going to be some disagreements about that. But if they figure that they can't actually bring me down to like a certain value, if they actually somehow figure that I might actually be somewhere close to right and they have to come up too far, they might decide that actually now it's more economical to repair rather than write off. So they'll reverse their decision and start down that road, and then I'm going to have to start going, well, I'm fine with that, repair it, but you need to basically like recategorize it back to where it was, take the category S or N off it, and you need to expunge all of the history of that off its record, which they can do, but they won't want to do. It's going to be a lot of paperwork and headache for them, but I will be on at them for that, because it'll devalue the vehicle and make my premiums higher. And even if they do all that, the insurance companies might still see some sort of discrepancies on its record, which means that they might still charge me higher premiums for my insurance, which is really annoying. So I'm kind of hoping that they stick with the write-off at this point, pay me out what it's worth, and I can just put the money into a new build, and that's what I'd do. And it will mean a lot more time and effort of mine into it, and I will need to buy new materials, as simple as that. But if they give me a decent enough value, then it should be doable, and I'm willing to put the time in, just because the situation is what it is, and I have to just basically make the best of it. We've got Finn Taylor saying, A up Finn. Dan was saying they're still not doing a van to East and West. Yeah, I mean, they said that they were prioritising it, and you would think they would, because they're paying out so much money for a higher vehicle than for this place. I honestly thought that they really meant that when they said they're going to make it priority, but it really is mental. Rachel saying, missed Jess talk. Well, I have missed out. Hope you're okay. Yeah, just it was a strange one today, if I'm honest. And I honestly don't know what to make of that situation. Rach, you can definitely get more details about it. Anyone smoking, says Finn. No, I'm not a smoker. Oh, Dreams is a smoker though. Oh, there we go. You find out interesting things, don't you? American Spirit Yellow Fin. Oh my Lord. Oh wait, that's not tobacco, but that we're talking about here, then I'm guessing. So you're saying the insurance company needs to compensate you fully as you have lost your home, not just a van. Well, exactly. Had a big old argument with this is what was stressful about a week ago on Monday. They called up and just were basically dealing with it as if it's just like some standard, we just deal with the vehicle. And like, it was ridiculous. I had to say to her, look, if this is my home as well, you understand it? She goes, yeah, but we have to deal with it just as a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, I need to be made whole. This is a third party thing. I said to her, what if you'd crashed into a house? Like, that was like, you know, because that's happened before. You know, there was a house in Olsey, it got crashed into, someone ended up in the guy's living room. Now, I'm pretty sure that the car insurance has to pay for that, not the household insurance. You know what I'm saying? Because there's somebody at fault there. And she said something along the lines of, oh, well, the household insurance would deal with it and they'd send us the bill type thing. I'm thinking, yeah, well, you guys need to foot the bill now for this, because this is my home. It's as simple as that. So I do know that I can go to the Ombudsman, and if I don't get a resolution I'm happy with, I'm going to immediately just get onto that. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to be straight down to the Ombudsman, explain the situation, and say, look, I know it's not a usual situation, and they're just trying to foist me on the fact that they're trying to deal with this in a standard way. But essentially, I've been booted out of my home for like over a month, and you know, I need to and they're trying not to compensate me for the fact that I've lost my home, and they kind of need to. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I've obviously made a claim as well, so there's like a solicitor, like a lawyer's firm, whatever you call it in this country. There's one of those basically actively working to start getting me like a compensation thing, which, to be fair, I can ask for compensation for a fair few things, but I don't think it will really include stuff like that. Oh, Dream saying it's about, oh, it is then. Okay, fair play. It's I've just never heard of that. Yeah, you're right, Pete. I mean, ombudsman is a good way to go. And they will be on my side of it for sure. I mean, basically, I'm playing hardball with the insurance company at this point, and doing what I can to deal with it. And what I think is essentially the more that they fumble this, the more ammunition they're giving me. So like, because I can go to the ombudsman and say, look, they spent a week fumbling around, like organising collection days, which like basically didn't come to fruition, and sending the wrong vehicles out. And then they finally basically took my home, which I didn't want them to do. I asked for them to do any kind of value, any kind of like survey and valuations and stuff on the drive, which I know is possible. I know that they can do that. They could have sent a guy out, they could have sent an engineer out, he could have done all of his inspections there, and he could have even had a tour of the inside and I could have shown him all of the bits and pieces inside. But they've not dealt with this properly at all. They've been really poor with it. And the more they do that, the more they just basically ask him to have to give me compensation. So yeah, and I think if I went to the ombudsman, they'd be pretty strong in favour of like basically me getting some really hefty compensation. I don't know how it's going to work in terms of a claim if I can, because the thing is when you make a claim with a lot of stuff like loss of earnings and things, you have to kind of like show evidence of like your like you know what's gone wrong and stuff like that. I'm not really happy with like how easy it would be to basically express the pain and suffering of having to be out of my own home for a very long period of time. Like it's very difficult to cook a meal because I don't have a kitchen, and yeah, just things like that. Looking after myself and whatnot. It's not as easy because I'm not in my own home. I'm just been displaced. I'm in this place, and it's a real stress. And you know, if it was my fault, you know, I'd pay the price, no problem. But it's not my fault. It's this other guy's fault, and it should therefore be, you know, a case of easy compensation. But they make it really difficult, and I think that's something wrong with the industry actually as a whole. The onus shouldn't be on the victim essentially to have to prove things. I think, you know, there should be a certain amount of leeway and understanding that, you know, you've gone through a lot of like problems and pain and suffering. You shouldn't have to fight for every little scrap and whatnot that you can get off them. So I do feel like that's something that needs to change in that industry as a whole. I think there needs to be way firmer regulations with it. I mean, I'm very tempted to just get on touch with the ombudsman, like now, just to get onto it. But I'm going to give them this one chance, and literally, if they come back and try any silly beggar stuff with me at all, I'm going to immediately say, no, look, you're wasting my time here. You're going to have to, you know, give me a couple of days because I'm going to go and contact the ombudsman. I'm going to get off the phone, call them straight away, and try to get something sorted with them because you guys are taking the mick. And I do wonder when I just say, right, basically, you guys need to like just basically stand still and wait for me now while I deal with the ombudsman. How quickly they'll change their tune, I don't know. Pete saying I had a big payout for an injury at a building site I had. Every little thing that this accident has affected your life, you can claim on PTSD, trauma, loss of earnings, nightmares, etc. You could, well, yeah. I've had very little good sleep. Well, I have had no good sleep since it happened. To be honest, I'm gonna be straight up honest. I haven't had a good night's sleep since the accident happened. Obviously, you know, the week after I had headaches and I was struggling to sleep just because of the stress, I think. And obviously, I woke up a couple of times having like a bit of a flashback situation, but that kind of passed and that was fine. But then I've been over here, and I'm just, you know, I'm not in my own home. It's just mental. So yeah, just, you know, it's difficult. And then, you know, it's difficult to do anything else in my life with this hanging over my head. It's making everything else harder to deal with because I've got this stress. Right, saying you can claim for personal distress, etc. It's costing you more to eat out. Well, yeah, the costing me more to eat out is a definite thing, and I plan to try to claim for that. I'm not quite sure how I can do that, but yeah, I will try. I mean, I haven't got receipts for everything I've done, to be fair, but I will claim for the things that I've got, like on the bank statements and stuff, like credit card statement, that sort of thing. June saying things are going to get worse with the rise of far right. I don't even know what all that is, to be honest. I'm not very good with the politics streams, and we generally try to stay away from that too much in here. Um, yeah, to be honest, Gracie, half the time I think it's your fault that you're not getting your good night's sleep. You need to stop using your phone and just get yourself in the bed sometimes, and you're just trying your best to avoid it. I know you're all right, James, don't worry. I wasn't telling you off. Just a quick reminder of it, that's all. And mostly because I'm ignorant of the amount of times people try to explain to me the difference between left and right in politics, and I still don't get it. It goes in one ear and out the other. I'm a smart guy, and you explain something about mathematics or how the universe works, boom, straight in, I've got it. Someone talks to me about politics, all my brain hears is it's loads of people talking about nonsense that doesn't matter, because they're either agreeing about something that shouldn't even be an argument in the first place, or they're disagreeing about something that shouldn't be an argument in the first place, or they are arguing about something, but it's not going to come to much fruition because it's not really going to make a dent in things. It's bigger problems sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It just goes in one ear and out the other. My brain just goes, nah, it's not worth listening to. Suzanne Molly, they just want to grind you down and just accept an offer. Yeah, I mean, the high pressure tactics that they used on that first call from they called the total loss department. The high pressure tactics they tried was crazy. Has anyone ever seen that video clip of a woman who's basically taking a call from a scam caller who's trying to get her credit card details, and she essentially has the sound effects for a crash, and she pretends that she's like, oh yeah, I'll just grab my card details now, just 1 second. I need to pull over because I'm driving. And then she kind of plays all the crash noises and then pretends she's basically been in a crash and she's lost her legs. And she's asking the scammer to basically call an ambulance for her. And the scammer's going, yes, I can help you. Don't worry, just get your card details first for me. Can you reach your card, get your card and give me the details and we'll get. And I'm like, wow. And that's kind of on the level of what the insurance company were like. They're like, oh, this guy's basically struggling because he's out of his home, he just wants to deal with this situation, we can just pressure. And she was going, just make this decision first. Choose between these two options, make your choice, and then we can deal with all this other stuff for you later. We just need to get this decision right now. Just choose, are we going to give you this amount of money or this amount, and you can have the van back. And I'm like, and I was like, wow, you're really trying to pressure me. And the more she did that, the more my gear of just don't do what I'm being told kicked in. And she really stressed me there as well, because I was trying to figure out, because she was trying to take vehicle away, with the hire vehicle. She was trying to make it sound like I wasn't going to stay here anymore. And as soon as they'd made the offer, so basically at that moment, it's like, no, this is all going away, so you better make your choice now because you're going to need the money quick so you can deal with things. I'm like, wow. And only after that call did I start to look into what the industry standards are and realise that she was basically BSing me loads in order to get me to just accept the numbers that she was giving me. And that is nasty, that is filthy. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that. So Pete's saying, if you had to rebuild your van, is there anything you would do different this time? Loads of stuff, Pete. So the only thing I can do right now, which I have started to do because it's an outlet for my anxiety about, not being able to do anything about this situation, like being in limbo and not having any control. I'm just waiting on the insurance company to pull their finger out and do what they're supposed to do. In the meantime, I'm just twiddling things and thumbs. So to give myself an outlet and try to kind of build some information that I can do now, because I'm aware that if and when they make a decision and I need to act on it, if it's the case that I do a rebuild, I'm going to need to have as much stuff figured out already as I can. I don't want that thing to take a year. And one of the biggest and longest steps on any build like that, when you're doing big builds, is the planning. Perfect planning prevents pathetic performance. That's how this works, right? The 5 Ps, right? So I need to spend a lot of time planning. So I've already started doing my preliminary planning, trying to look at what would I look at in terms of different things. So smaller fridge freezer, probably a 12 volt one, just because I'm trying to work out a way to have it so I'm working fully on 12 volts. With all of the stuff that's on, anything that's on permanently, so that's like my wireless router and my fridge freezer and a couple of other items. But essentially I want it so that I don't have to run an inverter constantly, because that's a drain on power that I don't need. and I feel like if I reduce that some more, I might not need to do solar, and with a better alternator in the vehicle, which you can upgrade your alternators to a more powerful one. I could essentially use that to charge up my lithium battery quicker, meaning that essentially if I get the power down to a slightly lower level, I could do in about 15-20 minutes of runtime in the vehicle. I've got a day's worth of charge. So anytime when I'm driving around, like if I go to the shop and back, that's half an hour's drive. That's probably like 2 days worth of power that I've built up. And so I'd basically be able to get away without having big solar panels on the thing. And that'd be very useful, because it's a bit annoying in the winter because I have to do that anyway, and it's kind of a bit limiting. In the summer it's nice, and the thing was, it was originally designed family of 4, where we'd be parked up for a week at a time and I wouldn't run the vehicle, so you need to be able to get constant power. But if you're moving around constantly in that vehicle and you can charge off the engine, then solar doesn't really become such an important thing. It's only if you want to be standing still, but to be fair, a decent sized lithium will do that, and I've got a decent sized lithium in the current build, and I'd probably just reuse that battery because it's still got years on it yet before it becomes an issue. I definitely do it so like basically I'm thinking that I don't think I need to do a bed which goes single or double. I think just a double for me. I do Ethan's room different. I'd certainly do a few other things with the kitchen and toilet room different. I have got a thought that obviously I still want to have a steam room, because I've got a steam room in the current van. My shower doubles up as basically it's toilet room, shower room and a steam room. I'm thinking I'd separate the toilet room from the shower and the steam, but also that I would do maybe a sauna in there too. I like the idea of that, so I can have like both, and I think that would actually be very doable. And then those areas that would become those things would also double up as just like a little decked area type thing that I could essentially extend the living space with and make it like more spacious. So I've got all these creative ideas of how to reuse the volume, like the space, what I call the empty space or the negative space. So you can't just have a sofa. You have to have a sofa and the room above it where you're going to have your bodies, and also in front of it where you kind of walk to sit on it, and then in front of that where you might have a TV or something like that, and obviously space for like where you might move around in essentially. And then that's negative space that you can then use during bedtime, and obviously if your sofa can become your bed, that sort of thing. And the same can be said with other spaces. So where the toilet is, that's a negative space when you're not using the toilet, so it could be used for something else. And where Ethan's bed is, that would become like where the bed is could become negative space at other times. And so it's just and the more negative space you have, that's the more spacious it's going to feel. So the idea is to have it so the whole van can be very open planned during the day, but yeah, I can sort of change the format of it. The key is those changes have to be done relatively easy. You don't want to spend like an hour every day changing everything in the morning and then another hour in the evening. It's got to be done very quick and very easy. So, you know, the designs have to be really spot on, and you also have to know that you can fit everything in where you want to fit it in. But I do think it's all very doable. Dream's saying, don't be anxious about it. It'll all work out in the end. Well, I hope so. I mean, it'll work out one way or the other. I just hope it's in a positive way rather than a bad way. Well, what is Gracie? So, Dams was saying there's a video, a woman crashed into someone's garden wall and went to the door to get insurance details because the wall hit her car. Yes, I've seen that one. That's hilarious. Just like, your wall was right away, it's just gone and hit my car. Yeah. That reminds me of the one where the woman was basically caught charging her vehicle up in somebody else's like home charging port, and the guy was kind of like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm charging my vehicle." And he's like, "Yeah, but this is my power." She's like, "Yes, but I needed to charge my vehicle." And it's just the complete lack of understanding that it was just so wrong, and it's basically theft to steal somebody else's power. And you can't quite work out, is she that stupid, or is she literally just thinks that it's totally okay? Dreams, you're right about the porkies, yeah. Gracie is a very tall tale teller. So Gracie giving us something science related apparently. Scientists sponge for atoms were the smallest particles. Oh yeah, they once thought that, yeah, it's true. So no, it's always interesting to me. Science is always a case of mostly of it is theory. Some of it gets proved, but mostly a lot of it is theory, especially at the cutting edge. And there's so many people, especially because a lot of theory is taught in schools as like our current understanding. And it's like, no, our current understanding doesn't mean anything. That's just the current most accepted theory, like the Big Bang. Like that's an accepted theory, not a thing that's been proven. And like the expansion of the universe and what happens, like whether it's slowing down, speeding up, stuff like that. Some of it's been proven, but the theory behind a lot of it is still basically theory. But yet there's the current accepted theory is what's taught in schools. And there's been so many things that have changed since I was at school, like how Pluto used to be a planet and now it's not, and stuff like that. It's weird. So uranium is a heavy and dangerous element. It gives a harm for it. Why are we talking about these random things, Gracie? I mean, not too bad, but Dream saying it can't exceed 3,000 kilograms if you want to register it. What are we talking about? Are you talking about the van? If you're talking about vans, 3.5 tons, so 3,500 kilograms is basically the max net weight of my van that has been crashed into, and also what it would be for any van that I get. Now, I wouldn't go for a Luton again, Pete. Well, I'm hoping not to. I could, but I'm hoping to go for just a standard panel van, but an L4H3, so like basically an extra long and a high roof. Basically similar to what I've got out there in the form of the hire van. Might get a slightly long one because basically if it's I need at least 4 and a bit meters inside lengthwise. 4.5 would be quite useful, yeah. So that would be about the same length as my one now, because that's quite a useful length in terms of like fitting a lot of things in. The width on those is not quite as wide as mine. That's one of the problems. So you're losing a good sort of 20 centimeters width. That's not quite so bad to deal with. I mean, just shrink up some work sides and stuff to make things fit. Yeah, I think basically at the moment with my current sort of layout, with the way that I'm looking at it, storage is going to be a bit tricky in terms of storing everything I want to have in the van. Certainly I can get all the amenities in. One of the big things that would change is I wouldn't have a washing machine. I feel like hand washing, or at least actually making something that I can make hand washing really easy. I think that's totally doable in terms of just like everyday stuff. But I would probably just use like a laundrette, and they've got these things like a bit like a vending machine, but it's essentially like a laundrette sitting as a bit like an Amazon locker or something like that, but instead of a locker, it's literally like a couple of the washing machines, different sizes, and a tumble dryer. There's one over like Toddington, I think I saw when me and Lucas were heading over to Ivanhoe with Ethan the other week, and yeah, we stopped in at a garage to grab a couple of bits, like a bit of food for him on the trip, and there was one there that looked really clean. And I was like, okay. You know, it got me thinking. I was like, yeah, I don't really need the washing machine in the van. Like, I can definitely get away without it. Or I could have something a bit different, something that can be packed away and then got out. But I think the current one just takes up too much space for a smaller van. And I do like the idea of a smaller van. I could go Luton box again. It is possible, and I might think about that. One of the things I don't like about that is the doors are always quite heavy, especially at the back. Sometimes they come with those shutter ones instead, and I didn't like having to build a whole door and everything at the back. I'd like to kind of go with this format with the panel vans and have like this sort of so the idea is to have like the back doors open and create like a decked area that kind of sits behind the actual. So it sort of extends the back of the van out a little bit to where, so if you imagine you've got your back doors and they kind of open up, and then so from the side profile it kind of goes like that and makes the van a bit longer by the width of the door. And then between the two doors, I'd create like a decked area as that to kind of extend it out a bit. And I can kind of wall off the back if need be, either with solid panels or maybe even like and have it like so I can flip between either that or some kind of more sort of open plan sort of thing, which is just a railing or something at the bottom, and then like have a glass canopy at the top, which I can just lift into position. And I do like the idea of something like that, where basically I can like create essentially a place where I can do a bit of stargazing through from in the warmth of the van, but also that decked area increases the space for the living room area and can be enclosed like a living room, but could also double up as like actual decked area, and it can have it more sort of an outdoor kind of feel with the doors open to a nice scenic view if we were like say at the Ivanhoe Beacon or over by the coast in certain places. Kind of like a more traditional kind of like what you might see on some channels of van life is where they can open the back doors and really enjoy the scenery. But it would just extend the space out a bit. And then because I've got that kind of like semi-outside bit, that's where I'd put my like sort of shower and then potentially have that double up as a steam room and then have a sauna the other side. I don't know how that would work yet. I feel like the space is useful for that. It just depends on how I can make the paneling to make all this work and whether I can add in the extra walls and stuff. So yeah, lots of question marks over the viability of that, but certainly in my early kind of imagination of what I can do with it, those things are on the cards being able to do. Yeah, and then yeah, we're going to see basically what happens with the whole like as I say, we'll probably remove the washing machine, and yeah, I think mostly that's about all the changes I think that I can think of to say in here. Those are the biggest parts. Yeah, the petrol prices are going up big time. That's how I found out about the war situation. I didn't know about it until that. I was very unhappy. Yeah. Pete saying, have you got any dodgy knock in the middle of the night stories? I've seen some sketchy videos of those on YouTube. Nah, not really. I mean, mostly what I find is people give the van a fairly wide berth because my van looked quite intimidating, and I think that's something I liked about it. It's like it was a big van, it was clearly self-built, it had a lot of things that were different, like, you know, the solar panels and the window looked different now. So people kind of looked at it and go, and you get two reactions, generally speaking. Well, there's three if you include the people who just walk past and don't notice it's anything but a white van, which happens more than you think. But excluding those people for a moment, you had two basically main reactions. People coming up and shouting at me, oh, I love your van, mate, you're living the best life, and things like that, really positive. And then you had other people who would just walk by and kind of give it a bit of a glance as to say, oh, like, what on earth, and then carry on. Like, you know, so the negative Nellies just kind of looked and just carried on. I didn't really get any sketchy stuff going on much. I think the sketchiest stuff I mean, we had people like nicking things, like a lady walked down from a village one time just to kind of knock on the doors when we weren't even there and try to get in, and then when she couldn't, she basically nicked the back step, the step that was at the back door. And that was when we built the new step, the wooden one that we now have. And I got her on camera doing all that, so it was a bit funny. And so there's people out there prejudiced against van lifers, but it's not the van lifer doing the pinching, it was the person living in the house who was doing that pinching. Yeah, we've had some sort of things like that happening. And I'd say, what would I say? Yeah, I don't know, there's been a few little things that happen. Just trying to think. Mostly I think the dodgiest sort of stuff that has put me on edge a bit and has made me feel like I want to move the van is when you get some, it's not a prejudice thing like that, but you get some weird Irish guy coming up, which is usually the accent they have, and they kind of come up and they go, oh mate, do you want to buy some cigarettes or something? But then when they're doing it, they're kind of casing up the entire thing. And I've quite a few times had somebody kind of come up behind the van to kind of have a little look around to see what's what. And when they get caught, it's not like they come up to talk to you, they get caught looking around. They kind of go, oh, all right, mate. Yeah, I was just wondering, are you this or that? And they ask a really random question that you're like, why are you asking me this? And it's just, they're basically trying to come up with a cover story for the fact that it was snooping around. And you know they're kind of casing it up to see maybe they'll nick something. And yeah, I mean, normally the ones who come up bold and as you like and ask something like, you know, do you want to buy cigarettes? Something that's like some kind of Irish guy, and I think maybe it's somebody from the traveller community, just checking to see maybe there's like a code sort of thing where they come up to sort of see if you're a traveller too, and so they kind of like ask you this innate question, which if you're a traveller you have a particular answer to, so it might be like a little code. Or to let you know that you're part of a certain family or something, so that you're like off limits. I don't know, because I didn't know any stuff like that. It always made me weird out when people were acting odd like that and asking funny things. And then I did see, like I say, the people casing it out and then coming up with a very thin story as to why they were basically snooping around. That sort of stuff happened, but it was usually during the day. And if I felt it was sketchy enough, we'd move. If I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that bad, I just make for sure that I've got everything locked up. And the van has loads of security, so, you know, sort of like entry alarms, motion detector stuff, cameras and all that sort of thing to make sure that it was a safe. The van was way safer than I've ever had a house, even to the point we had like fire extinguishers about and fire blankets and stuff that we'd never had in the house. We have, is that someone called Beijing saying good afternoon? Hi, good to have you in. UMC saying, quick question, I'm doing a little mystery challenge. If you can correctly guess which music celebrity, you will get a free VIP ticket to my next concert. I don't know. I don't really go to concerts anyway. Let someone in the chat guess it and then they can go. Alien saying something fishy. Oh, you mean the game we were playing the other day? I don't think it's called something fishy. What's it called? Sounds fishy. No, I mean, about the only thing we're going to do today is a dad joke, which I'll put out soon. Oh, we've got Alicia in. Hi, Alicia. How are you doing? Nice to have you in the stream and not in the chat, not in the comments afterwards. That's great. And Omar, good to see you, man. Big man, how's it going? I like that. I'm good. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Give you the fist bump. And Teddy's in. Yeah, as usual. Good to see you as well, Teddy. And you can bring his shoe back anytime you like. Elijah is in as well. Hi, Elijah. Some bloke in Tesco tries to enter me with his salami. Elijah, honestly. Oh, all right. Anyone in chat have a guess? There we go. We've got this auto translate thing on. Let me get that off. I hate that thing. I will say, Alicia, you keep spelling my name with 2 L's. It's only one. And I do prefer Molly to Alan, to be fair. That's what everyone else calls me. The plonker tried it on an radio sausage. Dream saying, have you ever thought about using the insurance money for a house deposit? Probably harder in the south, but houses in the north are fairly cheap. I like being a van lifer, to be honest, Dreams. It was a full-on choice to do it, and I like my independence. I like being mobile. Yeah, I don't have any short-term desire to have a house. I mean, if I could get a bit, I have looked at the potential of a piece of land somewhere. I mean, unless I'm going to move somewhere really kind of like you know, I don't know, Scotland or Wales or somewhere basically cheap. Like, I mean, I think I could get something not too far north. Like I noticed there's places like in say like Halifax and stuff. You know, some out of the way places where you can get some cheap houses, maybe like around Sheffield and that sort of area too. What is else going on with UMC? But yeah, so what was I saying? I've lost my train of thought. It happens. It's late. What were we talking about? Let me go back up in the chat. I'm glad you're doing well, Omar. I missed you too. We were talking about houses. That's it. Yeah. So, I mean, the potential to buy like a really rundown house and do it up. I mean, in the future, sure. If it came with a nice piece of land or something, because I just like the idea of having my own sort of little homestead. That would be nice. But I'd like to have it like my way, so to speak, and not just some standard little like semi-detached or in the terrace or whatever. I don't want to have that sort of thing. Um, and something about a cousin, someone you met. I live here in England. Oh, that's cool. Um, nice to have a bit more information about you, Alicia. Um, we've got most of us, I think, here in the UK. Not everyone's in England, to be fair, but there's a lot of people in the UK in here. Excuse me, my eye is doing funny things with me. Wow, I think I'm behind on the chat a little bit. Let me. So I'm guessing Ed Sheeran. The freedom of van lifing always appealed to me, says Pete. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone because obviously you get the freedom, but you also get some restrictions. So you can't have a life full of stuff. Like you can have some stuff, but you have to go back more to basics. That appeals to me as well. I like a more minimalist style of living. Yeah, so I like to keep things to a minimum. Like some people like will go, oh, I want a rice cooker and I want a air fryer and I want this and want that. I'm like, no. I just need a hob and a grill and I'm good to go. Oven, you know, is useful. We'll have an oven too. But like in terms of like rice, why would I have a separate cooker for that? I can do it in a saucepan and that saucepan is going to cook a lot of other things too. And I like to have like, you know, something that I can use to do multiple jobs with. And I like life just to be simple as well. Like, I don't like to have lots of clutter. I like things to be fairly straightforward. That was something that made me laugh a little bit when I was on that walk with Jess today. After she came to the allotment, we did a little walk, and I ended up walking her back to her house actually, and I got to see into her house a little bit. I didn't go in; I was just in the garden, but I got to see in her house, and it did make me chuckle. The kind of the difference between like, you know, her kind of like her house looked more cluttered than my van does essentially, because she's got way more stuff in there, and it wasn't particularly cluttered. I mean, she had a nice house enough, but she had so much stuff that it would just you barely fit it all in there compared to in the van where it's like space is a premium, so you really make a choice, do you need this or not? And I keep everything to an absolute minimum, and I like that. That's kind of one of the big differences between coach life and van life. Coach life is where they've got a big vehicle, lots of weight capacity, lots of volume space, harder to park, harder to get mobile, you're kind of fairly more stationary with it, but you've got all that space you would have in a house. Not quite the same as obviously a big house, but it's like a small house, maybe an apartment. And you've got like just so much more stuff that you can fit in. Van life, you have to go very minimal, but I like that. I love that. It keeps life simple, and I prescribe to this kind of trying to keep your decisions down to a minimum in a day. We're not built to make decisions constantly throughout the day. You know, waking up, going, what do I have to wear? What do I have to, you know, have for breakfast? Or what you want for breakfast? You know, which way am I going to go to work today? What am I going to do here? By the time you've even got like to the midday, you've already gone through all of your brain's capabilities for making decisions, and now everything else is a stress. And it's like, if I can keep decisions down to a minimum. So I'm that kind of guy. I have like 6 of the same t-shirt, just in slightly different colours. And generally speaking, I'll just go with like whatever colour suits with what I'm doing. So like if I'm doing work, I'll go with a darker t-shirt. So like this is essentially kind of like a work t-shirt, or like if like I've been out in the allotment today, it won't show up marks so much. So I'm not going to wear white doing that. And yeah, and then like if I'm going out on a date, I might wear the white one and stuff like that. And yeah, just, you know, but I keep it simple. I haven't got like 20 different styles of t-shirt. I just, you know, straight up keep it really simple. Yeah. You're obviously getting people to guess. I like this. This is a good guessing game, to be fair. Oh, we're looking for a Scottish one. Do I know many Scottish artists? I do know one. I'm trying to think of her name. I can't think of what it is, but there's one artist from Scotland that I really like. So Alicia's saying, I was born in Austria, but I live in England. Oh, Austria, that's cool. When did you move over to England then? That's a thing. What are your easy go-to dinners when you make what you can make in the van? Well, obviously I've got a full kitchen in the van. You know, microwave, grill, oven, hob. and I can cook pretty much anything. But the easy go-to dinners are the ones for me where it's like the one pan deal, or no pan at all if you can just do it all on the grill. Um, but generally speaking, as well, one of the best things to do is do a meal where you can get several out of the one. So, for instance, a beef and veg stew. Bit complicated the first time you do it. It's loads of veg to basically process and get sorted, and you've got to kind of get your meat in, and you've got to do the whole browning it, and then it takes hours to cook. So in terms of the first go, you know, a bit complicated. But now you've got a big saucepan full of food. You add your dumplings to it. Dumplings again, you know, they're pretty simple to do. Take a little bit of time. There were simpler things, but you know, you could literally just toast some bread up and dunk some soldiers, you know, buttered, beautiful, works. But dumplings really make the meal. So we make dumplings, we throw them in, we have our meal, but we've got those left. So what do? Back in the fridge, pull it out, and you've got days and days of meals. And now from then on, because you didn't have to wash that pan up for that with the big saucepan, the cauldron essentially. You didn't have to wash it up on the first day because you're going to keep it all in there. And you do that again and again. And then once you get down low enough, you start maybe parceling it out into containers to put in a freezer, and you can have a bit later on, or you can just finish the whole thing off over like a couple more meals. But essentially you can get so many meals out of that one pot, and they're beautiful. They're really good for you because they have a good balance of lots of different veg with a bit of meat. Yeah, just like one of my favourite things to do like that. I'd say my lamagin is really easy because that's just literally just, you haven't got to process the meat, it's just throw in some minced lamb from the packet. You've got to process a bit of veg, and yeah, you just quickly make that up. And again, that's something you can warm up later, which is really handy. So it's like my go-to if I've got people coming around, I'm entertaining. It's a really tasty meal, and all I've got to do once people are there is do a bit of toast, throw that on, grate a bit of cheese, grate a bit of carrot, quickly chop up a little bit of lettuce and parsley, throw it on. Beautiful, beautiful meal, and really simple. And it's just the one pot. And again, like I say, you can actually make that the day before, divvy it out into microwavable containers, and you can just mic that when you want to warm it up, and then yeah, just stick it on the toast. So really simple stuff that. Loads of ideas. I could give you so many ideas for what I cook, but it does depend on the van. Like for me, it's about keeping the washing up minimal, because that's where a bulk of the effort can end up being. But there's definitely some really, really simple meals that you can do where there's not even a lot of cooking involved. So it just depends where your preference is, I guess. We're still trying to guess this artist. I reckon someone's guessed it already and they've just changed the answer. Dear. Everyone's doing some much better guesses than I am. Jeez, I wouldn't be able to guess any of these. I mean, I'm not even sure any of these are. I mean, I'm assuming these artists are all Scottish that you've all been saying. Oh dear. Well, yeah, I've got a feeling somehow that is definitely almost certainly not Calvin Harris, and there's not going to be a ticket available. But there you go. And I tell you what, the futility of asking somebody you think is scamming you, whether it's a scam, brilliant. Only for petrol, I see. There you go, Gracie's like, send me the tickets to my email in my bio. There you go, easy as that. We've got S. Stephen in saying, how comes you don't blink? Because I'm AI, that's why. Didn't you realise AI haven't worked out how to blink yet, so I can't blink, but I will eventually when they work that out. They've just got to code it in somewhere. Jagan Advocate saying, are you frozen? Blink your eyes. Ready? There you go. Was that a good blink? I've got to learn how to do it. Honestly, you will think us AI can just basically learn everything instantly. It takes us ages. Who were you asking about a photo shoot? That's weird. Right, you have to see if someone can get the VIP. Dear me. Gracie, don't hold out much hope, honestly. I'm from the UK, Jagan. Right, we've got to get a dad joke done because I'm feeling like this stream is pretty much over. Alright, so the comments we get here, yeah, it's very weird sometimes, streams. It's a late night one, so at late night we do get some weird comments. I'm hoping it's not gone midnight yet. No, it hasn't. That's good. So, right, here we go. Dad joke of the day coming up. What do you call it when a group of apes start a company? Monkey business. Oh, that's cringe. That is cringe. Yeah, I have to admit, I think if Calvin Harris was in the comment section, pretending like hiding himself behind another name, first of all, it would be a better handle, and also he'd be able to like essentially write better than this, surely. Yeah. Bye, UMC. Take care. But it was fun having you in. You were certainly entertaining. I appreciate that. Jagan's saying it's a Hobson choice, isn't it? What on earth? What 8 anyway? How's UK holding up? Not very well, if we're honest. Pete saying, right, I'm off, mate. Speak soon, Pete. I'm going to be off fairly shortly as well. Go on, Stephen. Give us one joke. I'll give you a quick time to do one more, and then we're gonna call this thing. I'm definitely getting tired, and I need to get to sleep, ready for tomorrow. I'll give you just a moment. Come on, get that joke in, Stephen. Come on. We are waiting. It better be a good one as well if I'm waiting on it. Did I ever get an answer from Alicia about like when she moved here from Austria? Oh, we had a Michael in. Sorry, do a black backflip. I missed that. A bit late, I guess now. Oh, sorry. So, Alicia was then saying, oh, Alan, did you ever meet me? That's a weird question, Alicia. Did I ever meet you? I think you'd know if I met you. Weird. I honestly don't know what you're asking me there. Right. Had somebody called Tiger King in for a minute and retracted their statement. Weird. So Jagan's saying, oh, hold on, let me go back up. I might have missed some stuff while I was scrolling up. Sorry, yeah, I was waiting for the joke. I know, right? Take care. Right, still waiting on Stephen. So never mind. Sorry, the joke is too long. Next time. Fair enough, Stephen. So you're saying the simpler your life, Molly, the less cluttered your mind. That's true. That's true. Your surroundings definitely affect your mentality. It's very direct as well. It's not like a kind of like wishy-washy thing. It really does have a really direct effect on how you're thinking. If you're living around clutter, or if you're like keeping things organised, it's that sort of thing where if you know where everything is and everything has kind of like a reason behind where it is, it's way better for your psyche. And like that's why living around somebody else's clutter is really awful for a lot of people, because when you live around somebody else's clutter, it feels really unnatural, like it's cluttering your mind. It's awful. Jagan's saying when you remove everything becomes clear. Don't you agree? Yeah, I mean, if it's all gone, it basically it's nothing there, so it's see-through. Yeah. Right. What do you prefer, cavalry or caval? You said cavalry, but is that cavalry, or infantry, or artillery? Depends what for, I guess. You know, if you've got a castle to get into, surely a bit of artillery is the best thing to do for. Otherwise, cavalry would be better than infantry. But it also depends on the numbers. You know, if you've got 1 million infantrymen, that's going to be better than like a handful of cavalry. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why you'd have all three, to be fair, in some way, because, you know, artillery on its own is very, it's basically defenceless. So then you need your infantry to basically protect that, cavalry for the attacks, that sort of stuff. You know, war is a very, and battles is a very complicated thing. And I'm sure there's an analogy in there somewhere for life as a whole, but I haven't got the brain power for that today. So we've done our dad joke. We've had a good old chat, and it's been lovely actually. We've had plenty of people in and plenty of really cool chat. So I've really enjoyed this one. Yeah, grateful to everyone who has been here and has been in the chat. If you've been lurking and you're not subscribed, make sure you do. I'll be here tomorrow as always, hopefully a lot earlier, and Ethan will join us and we'll have a proper games night with some proper family time. Yeah, balance is the key, Jagan. Great to have you here, Jagan. I really appreciate a lot of your chat. Appreciate your thoughts too and your questions. I will see you all tomorrow, and as always, for now, have fun.